December 5, 2017. It's December, and ESPN NFL draft experts Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay have been following the 2018 draft since, well, the 2017 draft ended. Now that we're less than 150 days from seeing next year's first-round class take the stage in Arlington, Texas, McShay and Kiper are here to catch you up on the best 2018 prospects, lingering questions and more. So in what has become an annual tradition, they're here with a 25-question primer to help you out. If you really don't care much about this quarterback class, skip ahead to question 08.1. Everyone wants to know about the quarterbacks in this class. We're putting you on the spot. How many will go in round 1? McShay, I think we'll see 4: USC's Sam Darnold, UCLA's Josh Rosen, Wyoming's Josh Allen, and Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield. Round 1 Thursday, April 26, 8 p.m. ET rounds 23 Friday, April 27, 7 p.m. ET rounds 47 Saturday, April 28, noon ET. We're at Stadium in Arlington, Texas. NFL Draft homepage. Projected order. Kiper, McShay answer 25 questions. Mel Kiper's big board. Top prospects. Todd McShay's top 32. Darnold and Rosen are on a separate tier than the other two. Darnold has better intangibles and a higher ceiling, but Rosen can make every throw with ease. Allen is a physical freak who didn't play as well this season as I had hoped, but he should dominate the postseason process. Mayfield has elite leadership abilities that make up for his physical shortcomings and has improved his draft stock tremendously. Point 2. Which QB is most ready to start right away in the NFL? Kiper, it's Rosen, who has played under former NFL offensive coordinator Jed Fish and has elite physical tools. Point 3. Darnold's still in the mix at number 1 overall, right? McShay, yes, but this is the least confident I've been since the start of the season. I've been his biggest supporter over the past year, but it was eye-opening to watch him on the same field as Rosen. Right now, Rosen is superior going through progressions, and Darnold has had a huge problem with turnovers. His 19 combined interceptions and lost fumbles this season led the FBS. I think if he can be more consistent in his footwork, he'll be okay down the line. But remember, Darnold is a third-year sophomore and could still return to USC. Point 4. Fill in the blank. Allen will be selected among the first __ picks. Kiper 10. Yes, I know his numbers aren't great, but NFL teams are drafting on projection. Scouts and front office folks love what he can be. And there are a bunch of teams that will need quarterbacks in 2018 in the draft or free agency. At 6'5" and 233 pounds, Allen is a physical specimen, and I think he's going to impress at the combine. I also love his competitiveness. However, he's going to need to show teams that the shoulder injury that kept him out of the Cowboys' final 2 regular season games isn't serious. Wyoming quarterback Josh Allen had only 13 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions during the regular season, but NFL scouts have taken notice of his potential. Photo by Troy Babitusa, Today Sports 5. Todd, are you buying the comparison of Allen to Carson Wentz? McShay, I see some similarities. Allen's coach actually recruited Wentz to North Dakota State and had him for 3 years before leaving for Wyoming, so both played in the same system and both can create plays outside the pocket. But Wentz was a superior decision-maker and was more accurate than Allen has been. Allen is a little bigger and definitely has a stronger arm. There is an argument that Allen should go back to school for another year, but he's so freakishly gifted that a team will likely take a chance on him on day 1.6. Mayfield is about to win the Heisman Trophy. Todd says he's a first-round pick. Do you agree, Mel? Kiper, he's on the fringe. Mayfield is one of the most difficult evaluations I've had to make in the past several years. He has had some incidents with immaturity, and NFL teams are always watching and evaluating. Mayfield's size has been a discussion among scouts, too. He is listed at 6'1", but I think he's closer to 6 feet. Russell Wilson is the only NFL starting quarterback under 6 feet, and Drew Brees is the only NFL starting quarterback right at 6 feet. That's it. Neither was drafted in the first round. I like Mayfield as a prospect, but the pre-draft process will be extremely important for him. Point 7. So what about 2016 Heisman winner Lamar Jackson? McShay, he's not in the round 1 conversation at this point. The Louisville quarterback still has a long way to go in terms of making throws from the pocket and being accurate down the field. He is a dynamic athlete, however, and he's going to light up the combine. What worries me is that he's a runner first with a slight 6'3" frame, and those guys don't usually hold up in the NFL, where everyone's a great athlete. Penn State running back Saquon Barkley could be a top 5 pick in the draft, and he's expected to test well at the NFL Combine. Rich Barnes, USA Today Sports 8. Okay, enough about the QBs. Is there a surefire number one prospect in this class right now? Cleveland is now a 1-2 and in a great position to pick first overall in next April's draft. The 49ers and Giants, who have both won 2 games, are battling for the number 2 pick. Quarterbacks Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold are near the top of Mel Kiper's latest ranking of the top prospects for next year's draft, but they're not number 1 and there's a long time to go to shuffle the top 10. The Oklahoma quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner is a perfect fit for today's NFL. But for which team? Matt Bowen picks out 5 possibilities for next year's draft. Kiper no, and that's what makes this class so interesting. It's the 3 quarterbacks Rosen, Darnold and Allen vying for the spot with 3 others: Penn State running back Saquon Barkley, Florida State safety Derwin James and Alabama defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick. Barkley is my top-ranked prospect right now, but it's unlikely that a tailback is going to go number 1 overall. He has an elite grade from me, but he has to find the right team fit in the top 10. James and Fitzpatrick are both dynamic athletes who fit today's NFL in terms of versatility and athleticism. It's going to be a fun process leading up to April's draft. Point 9. So where are the pass rushers? Is there a Myles Garrett in this class? McShay no. Garrett is a special talent. NC State's Bradley Chubb is a great all-around player, but he doesn't have Garrett's elite skill set. Chubb is number 5 in my top 32. LSU's Arden Key, my number 7 ranked prospect, is probably the best natural pass rusher, but he has battled injuries and hasn't produced as much. Point 10. You're drafting for the winless Browns at number 1 overall. Who are you taking and why? Kiper. It has to be a quarterback. That is Cleveland's biggest need. Stop trading down and get a guy who can be the face of your franchise for 10 to 15 years. Rookie second-round pick Deshaun Kaiser has been a turnover nightmare, so let him compete with the top 2018 pick. This team has won 1 game in 2 seasons under coach Hugh Jackson, so I wouldn't be surprised if there also were a new coach and front office next year. Point 11. What if the 49ers, who traded for Jimmy Garoppolo earlier this season, get a top WOW pick? Should a QB still be in play? McShay no. I think Garoppolo can be a starting caliber quarterback in San Francisco. He's only 26 years old. He needs a better supporting cast around him. Wide receiver and offensive line are 2 of the 49ers' biggest needs, and because there isn't an elite lineman or wide receiver worthy of the top pick, the first thing I would do is put the pick on the block for the highest bidder that is looking to move up to take one of the quarterbacks. The 49ers rebuild will take some time, and they need multiple picks. Crimson Tide wideout Calvin Ridley is averaging 16.3 yards per catch this season. Marvin Gentry, USA Today Sports 12. Are there any legit number 1 wideouts in next year's group? Kiper. Alabama's Calvin Ridley is the clear number 1 guy, and he's the only receiver I see as a guaranteed first-round pick right now. He's number 12 on my big board. Point 13. If my team needs a blank, we're in luck in this draft. McShay running back. It's a very deep draft at the position. Barkley is number 1, but LSU's Darius Juice, Stanford's Bryce Love and the Alabama duo of Bo Scarborough and Damian Harris are really good too. I have 9 backs with grades that would put them in the first 3 rounds. Point 14. By the time it's April, Mel, who are people going to be saying, oh, Kiper loves that guy? Kiper. I mentioned Allen earlier, so I'll note 2 more guys. Harris, who Todd just mentioned, is one of my favorite prospects in this class. He just gets the job done. I also like Memphis wideout Anthony Miller, who just had 3 touchdowns in the AAC title game and has had 32 total touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Both are likely day 2 picks. Point 15. What about you, Todd? McShay. It's still early and this kid's a third-year sophomore, so he could return to school, but I'll go with Clemson defensive end Clelin Ferrell. He's a Richmond, Virginia kid with a tough upbringing who has improved so much since 2016. He plays with great energy, and he had 8.5 sacks and 17 tackles for loss this season. Point 16. Who are the guys? Well, I'll be calling freaks after the NFL Combine. Kiper. Jackson might run in the 4.4s in the 40-yard dash. That is flying for a quarterback. Barkley is a gifted athlete for his 230-pound frame, and I think he'll run under 4.4 in the 40. Love can fly, too, and he might be even faster than Barkley. On defense, Key is a freaky athlete with rare size. 6'6", 265 pounds. He could rise into the top 5 discussion after the combine. Florida's Tavon Bryan is a 6'4", 290-pound brick wall of a defensive tackle with a rare size-speed combo. Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield had 46 total touchdowns and only 5 interceptions in the regular season. Kevin Jair, who said today Sports 17. Which prospect has helped his stock the most this season? McShay, it's tough to give any other answer than Mayfield. I wrote that he was probably a day 3 prospect at this time last year. Since we touched on Mayfield earlier, though, I'll offer up South Dakota State tight end Dallas Goedert, who ranks number 1 at the position. He's super talented and could sneak into the first round. I'd also throw in Virginia quarterback Kurt Benkert, who has generated some buzz and could move up if he performs well during Senior Bowl week. 18. Which prospect has hurt his stock the most this season? Kiper, I really thought Alabama defensive lineman Deshaun Hand, a former 5-star recruit who had been a rotation player, could have a breakout season in his first season as a full-time starter. But he hasn't been consistent, and he has only 2.5 tackles for loss. At 6'4" and 285 pounds, he's a tweener, not big enough to be a tackle but not explosive enough to play end at the next level. I'd also include Texas A&M receiver Christian Kirk, whom I had thought heading into the season could be a first-round pick. Now I think he's a day 2 guy who will likely primarily be a slot wideout. 19. Which prospecto player comparison do you think is most spot-on? McShay, I know, this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out. Mayfield somewhat reminds me of Russell Wilson, with a little bit of Johnny Manziel and Brett Favre in there. That's if the Oklahoma QB hits his ceiling, of course. Don't discount the Mayfield to Wilson comp. Both are good athletes with stockier frames than other quarterback prospects, and both have above-average arms. 20. Is there a number 1 cornerback in this draft who could start right away, like Marshawn Lattimore and Tre'Davious White? Kiper, there's no Lattimore, who had a high grade all year, lit up the combine with a 4.36 40 and 38.5-inch vertical and went number 11 overall. But there are 3 really good corners in my top 25. Denzel Ward, Lattimore's former teammate at Ohio State, is polished and has good instincts. Colorado's Isaiah Oliver, a bigger defender with return ability, and Iowa's Joshua Jackson, a ballhawk who had 3 picks in the Hawkeyes' win over Ohio State, were right there as well. 21. Which team is an obvious candidate to try to trade back? McShay, I mentioned San Francisco earlier, but Indianapolis is another team to watch. The Colts could have a top 3 pick, and they already have a franchise quarterback in Andrew Luck. They need extra picks to get Luck some help and shore up their defense. Notre Dame offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey is expected to be a first-round pick. Zach Bollinger on SportsWire 22. Help out Mitchell Trubisky. What should the Bears do in the top 10? Kiper, Trubisky absolutely needs some weapons. The Bears' best pass catcher is a 5'6" running back, and 2015 first-round pick Kevin White can't stay healthy. Alabama's Ridley has to be in play. Chicago also could take a look at the offensive line class. Tackles Mike McGlinchey, Notre Dame, Orlando Brown, Oklahoma, and Connor Williams, Texas, all rank in my top 20 and should be available. 23. Who's the underclassman who could use another year of development? McShay, Texas linebacker Malik Jefferson. At 6'3" and 240 pounds, he has NFL size and an NFL skill set. But he has technique deficiencies and doesn't play to his size. He needs to get stronger and continue to improve his ability to diagnose and attack plays. 24. What about the underclassmen with nothing left to prove to NFL scouts? Kiper, Barkley in the top tier of running backs. Juice, Love, Harris, and USC's Ronald Jones too have taken a lot of hits. Running backs have a short NFL lifespan, and they're not going to be drafted any higher based on how they perform in 2018. 25. The Broncos' quarterback situation is far from settled, and they could be picking in the top 10. Is it QB or bust? McShay, yes. Denver should be ready to pull the trigger on another first-round quarterback, even after taking Paxton Lynch at number 26 overall in 2016. Lynch has thrown only 97 passes in 2 seasons, but Allen and Mayfield could be upgrades if Rosen and Darnold are off the board. I said in 2016 that it was a reach for Lynch to go in the first round, as he was more of a developmental prospect, and the Broncos shouldn't shy away from this QB class because of him.